Have you ever wondered how you can do nothing and leave nothing undone? Well, this is known as Wu Wei, the central theme of the book, the Tao Te Ching, which was written by Lao Tzu, the sage, some 2,500 years ago, which has been lauded as one of the wisest books ever written in human history. And it explains why it has also become one of the most translated works in the world. But why do nothing? What does it mean? And how can you do nothing and leave nothing undone? It's left a lot of people feeling very confused. Even a simple thing like making a cup of coffee would need something to be done. You need someone to ground the beans, you need someone to prepare the water, and then you need someone to take the coffee out from the machine, even if you are relying on the machine to make the coffee. The coffee will not airdrop from nowhere. So you have to get something done in order to get things done. But how can you do nothing and leave nothing undone? And it is in fact a very powerful, very profound concept that has been around for 2,500 years. And it has been basis of excellence if you want to be doing the best in whatever that you are doing. So we have to go back to some of the fundamentals to understand what this concept is trying to teach us so that we'll be able to get the most from it. And for that, I would like to approach it from two perspectives. One of them is visible, the other one of them is invisible. Let's begin from the easy one, which is invisible. Now, in order for you to get things done effectively and preferably also effortlessly, it is very important for you to understand that in whatever that you do, there is an underlying principle that governs the things that you do. And it is what we call nature. And if you're able to leverage this principle, you'll be able to get things done more effectively because you are tapping into the power of the law of nature to get things done. Let me give you an example. Now, for example, if you want to jump high, it is very important that you squat low. This is what we call the yin-yang theory, in the sense that the yin and yang forces has got to work in a manner that would allow you to make the most of the natural force. So if you defy the force in the sense that you want to jump high but you don't want to squat low, then you will not be able to get things done in a natural way. This natural principle in it is something that you have to observe in order to get things done in the most effective manner. You don't add anything more than that. So in other words, in everything that you do, there's a sweet spot. It doesn't mean that the harder that you work, the better result that you produce. If you don't observe the principle, in fact, the harder you work, you can spoil the food. You may end up going around in circles and achieve nothing. So in whatever you do, you must understand the sweet spot where the effort has to put in, not too much, not too little. How do you determine the too much or too little? It is to understand the underlying force within it, which is in the case that we mentioned just now, for you to be able to jump high, it is important that you squat low. And you use the yin-yang principle in everything that you do. That's how we fly a plane. You have the forward movement, you have the backward movement, so that the plane can take off. And you do it when you're leading a team. Now, in order to lead the team, it's important that you understand what's in the mind of the team and what their motivation is, so that you'll be able to tap into it for you to lead them to achieve the biggest results. So this is the visible aspect of not doing. You do nothing more than is necessary to go with the flow of that natural force for you to achieve the results that you are after. Now, if you add in more than necessary, then the effort will become wasteful. That's one thing, but it can also weigh down the effort that you are putting in. In other words, the action would be compromised as a result. So this is the visible aspect of not doing. Now, the invisible aspect of not doing is more difficult to explain. But just imagine, we know that, you know, the Earth is big, right? We are just a tiny little dot on the Earth. But can you imagine that, in fact, the Earth itself is just a tiny dot in the solar system? You know, there are 9 planets going around the Sun, and the Earth is not the biggest. Just Jupiter alone is, in terms of volume, 1,300 times bigger than the Earth. And not to mention the Sun. You know, the Jupiter is nothing compared to the Sun in terms of the volume. But can you imagine that, in fact, the Sun is, again, just a dust particle in the Milky Way, which has well, at least 300 billion stars. And can you imagine that there are many Milky Ways in the universe? You know, the galaxies that we know are in billions, hundreds of billions of them. I would not want to dive into the figures because, you know, it's not significant here. What is important for us to understand is that the world or the universe is so huge, so gigantic, and we're just a little part of it. But if you look to the sky, especially at night, you'll be amazed at how peaceful it is. Everything is in order. Why? What is keeping the entire universe so gigantic in order? Lao Tzu calls it the Tao, and you can call it, you know, by any name. It's just that there is an invisible force behind it, and we are governed by this law as well. And this law, or this force, is so huge, it's governing the entire universe, but it can also be so tiny that it's around us. You know, just like the way that I mentioned just now, you know, when you want to jump higher to squat down, that's a law that's keeping this action in order. So if you are able to understand this invisible law, then you will be able to get things done in a more effective manner. Why? Because, you know, if this force is great, then it helps you to become greater. And that's the reason that it is so important for you to understand the law, for you to work in the most effective manner. But because this law is invisible, this force is invisible, so Lao Tzu gives it another name in addition to Tao. He calls it the nothingness. And the nothingness is the nothing that we talk about, you know, when we are talking about doing nothing. So when we're talking about doing nothing, we are not saying that, you know, you are doing absolutely nothing. We are saying that you are doing something by observing the nothingness of the universe. And that's why you can leave nothing undone. So I hope by you know, seeing the nothing in these two perspectives would allow you to have a more profound understanding of what doing nothing means and why Wu Wei is so powerful. Let me know what you think, and probably also the questions that you have, so that I'll be able to tailor the content of my presentation to help you achieve more in life, and, you know, to make whatever that you do more fulfilling. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again very soon.